What's good, artists? It's Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com here with another Artist Marketing 911. Artists, today we're going to talk about getting over stage fright, overcoming stage fright. Now, when I first had my first performance, I actually got booed. Why did I get booed? Because it was a competition. It was in the middle of Hollywood. It was my first show. I was excited. I actually had to sell tickets to get on this show. And it was at the Key Club. But it was at the bottom level of the Key Club where you first walk in and you see these bands playing with all this smoke and all of this stuff going on. And you got all of these light shows. And then they look at you and they say, "Are you here for hip hop?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they like, "Go downstairs." So I basically performed in a basement my first time. It was a competition where basically your fans could get you signed by these A&Rs that were in the back. Basic scam or whatever. But I'm here to basically help you overcome the same thing that I overcame that night. And there's a lot of things that I read in that time period that really helped me get over it. I know a lot of my audience are a lot of young artists that are aspiring to be great performers. And a lot of you are first-time performers. A lot of you are people who have been performing for years, but still you can't get over your stage fright. Hopefully these tips I share with you today can help alleviate some of those issues as you start to get over that stage fright. Now, artists, your live show is your most personable and your most authentic representation of your brand and your music. People have an opportunity to connect with the person they heard online or the person that their friends share with them via YouTube. Now they have an opportunity to see you live and right before your face. So it's very important that you make a great connection. It's hard to make a great connection if you're stuck inside here getting through your nerves. However, we know that nerves are a natural part of your first performances. Nerves are a part of any performance, any big performance, anything that means that much to you. When it comes to a performance, you're going to feel a little bit of nerves. I mean, even veterans feel nerves before they go on a stage before 60,000, 70,000 people at a stadium. It's just natural. Now, most of those professionals get high off of that energy and they just go in because they're so excited about having nerves and having the opportunity to make a 60,000 plus crowd go wow, that it actually excites them. Now, when you're first starting to perform, in your mind, you think of all the things that could go wrong. And it's natural. You think about looking awkward on stage. You think about dropping the microphone. You think about forgetting your lyrics. You think about falling on stage. You think about all of these things that could go wrong that more than likely is not going to go wrong unless you really get in your mind and start to make it a reality. But most times these things are not going to actually happen. So here are a few strategies that I suggest before you even get on stage and while you're on stage, just to have the mindset so you don't really have to deal with nerves. First things first is going to be very unorthodox. Go find yourself a mirror. Whether it's in your car, whether it's in a bathroom, find a mirror and find somewhere where you can be by yourself before a performance. If you can do this right before your performance, it's even more perfect. Find a mirror, find a bathroom, find somewhere you can be alone, and smile as wide and as ridiculous as you can. Just the pure thought of that alone should make you just crack up. And that's the point. The point is for you to not feel so serious about this moment. The point is for you to not have such ridiculous nerves when it comes to that. And sometimes you got to make yourself feel that ridiculous in front of yourself so you don't take yourself too seriously. So get in front of a mirror, some kind of mirror, some kind of bathroom, some place alone, because you don't want to be looking crazy before your performance, and just smile as ridiculous as possible. It works for me. Now, before your performance, I suggest wearing some comfortable clothing. Now, it's natural that your first performance, you almost want to treat like your first day of school, and you want to wear all your gear, you want to wear your sunglasses, you want to wear all these things that just stunt, right? You want to look good for your first performance, but sometimes wearing things that you've never worn before could make it even more of an awkward situation, a more awkward performance. So I suggest wearing some comfortable clothes. I'm not saying go up there bummy, but wear some stuff that you find easy to move around in. Even rehearsing these clothes a day before. The next thing, speak to yourself positively, whether that's mentally or out loud. Once again, this is something that you can do when you're doing your mirror exercise and you're looking crazy again. Find positive reinforcement. Now what happens is your mind sort of goes to work on these negative thoughts, and this is why you mess up. Because you'll be on stage and you'll be thinking, oh my God, what is that next line? What's the first line? How do I start this off? And as soon as you start thinking like that, you've already done the damage and you're bound to mess up. So try to get positive reinforcement in your mind. Try to imagine yourself having the most perfect show. Try to imagine yourself even messing up, but just moving on from it very gracefully. Find whatever you find positive and just keep reinforcing it into your mind. Your mind is a bank account. And if you keep withdrawing and you keep putting negative in it, guess what? You're not going to have an abundance of any money or any value inside your brain. So continue to deposit very positive thoughts. Reinforce yourself. Yo, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to have a great show. I'm going to put on a great show for these people. These people are going to love me at the end of this. They're at least going to know who I am at the end of this. We're going to have a great time. I'm going to turn up with my people that are here. We're going to make this a great night. And with that said, the next step, keep your mind away from all the things that can go wrong. Try not to focus on those things, because most of the time it's with your mind. It's this crazy little voice in your mind that just goes to work on you because they know that you'll listen to them. So try not to think of the negative things that could go wrong. Just keep them out of your brain. Like I said, positive reinforcement definitely works. Next, remind yourself who's most important in this situation. It's not what's going on in here. The most important people in this situation is your audience. Throw them a show. Think about the show you're throwing for them. Think about entertaining them. Think about talking to them between songs so that it's less awkward. Go to your front row and just start high-fiving people. Do whatever you can to break that ice. It's a very awkward situation to be on this elevated platform with this device in your hand called a microphone and speak to an audience and say, hey, I need the next 15 to 20 minutes of your life. It's a very awkward situation. Why not try to break that ice? Now, a strategy that I use to make sure I don't forget lyrics, when I'm rehearsing at home or rehearsing in the studio, what I like to do is basically do basic math inside of my head, arithmetic, like 2 + 2 = 4, 4 + 4 is 8. I do basic math while I'm reciting my lyrics. If I can do both of those things at the same time, it will basically save me from messing up on stage when distractions happen, whether it's feedback, whether it's people talking, whether it's somebody on their phone, whether it's all these things that can happen at a show. It helps me to do this basic math in my head because I'm able to multitask in an environment where it's very similar to what happens at a show. A lot of distractions happen. Sometimes you'll look and make eye contact with somebody who's really excited about what you're doing, and that can throw you off. Or somebody just starts dancing like crazy to your music and you wasn't expecting that to happen to your trap beat, but it's happening. It's good to embrace that. It's good to simulate that distraction. The next thing, recite your lyrics on the treadmill. Some artists have problems with their breath control. Well, it's good to recite your lyrics on the treadmill or while you're running and jogging outside, because by the time you get on stage, you'll be so seasoned and so sharp that people won't even know that you're running out of breath. And this is one I don't highly suggest because it's not good to do a habit, but sometimes you just need to get that edge off. If you're in a club situation, do as the club goers do. Take a shot. I like Fireball. I take my shots of Fireball. Excuse me, I meant shot of Fireball. Kind of exposed myself. I take my shot of Fireball. It alleviates all of those voices, alleviates all those nerves, and I can just focus on, hey man, I'm about to have a good show. Just don't be drunk. Don't go out there being drunk because that's a sloppy show. Nobody wants to see a sloppy show, but sometimes that shot can, knock the edge off if you're 21 plus. And the next thing, look, go make small talk with the audience that you're supposed to be performing in front of. Make small talk on stage with them. If you have an opportunity to basically shake hands with the people that you're nervous about messing up in front of, you won't feel so nervous because they'll almost feel like friends. Even if you just met them. Even if you can get somebody to just say hi. A lot of times just shaking hands with people and smiling at them and having some kind of rapport with them, it just takes away a lot of those nerves because you feel like you're performing in front of somebody that may be a fan of you, or somebody who may give you a chance because you were willing just to say hello to a group of people. And when you're on stage, sometimes making small talk about what your thoughts were behind this music. Why did you create this song? What kind of relationship inspired this song? Talk about it. People can relate to it out there. The next thing, when you mess up, keep going. 90% of the time, your audience has no idea, especially if they're new to your music. They have no idea that you're messing up. If they have no idea, man, keep going. If you mess up on a line, don't do one of these. Yibba-dibba-dip. Ow! People can see all through that. But if you say dibba-dibba-dip, nobody will catch that one word and come to you at the end of the show and say, excuse me, sir, but you messed up that one word. I know you did because you had a pause in between. Nobody's going to do that. So that being said, keep going. The last thing, realize you are digging through the dirt to get to the goal. The dirt being you're going to make mistakes. You're human. Go make mistakes. The quicker you make these mistakes, the quicker you can get through the ugly, the dirt, the quicker you'll get to the goal. So get out there and make mistakes. Do what a lot of your peers are not willing to do. They're scared. Most people are scared to perform, and this is why they perform with shades on, or they perform with their lyrics in the background instead of just rapping it the same way they rapped it in the studio. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to look human in front of other humans, especially not in front of other humans. Now, if you was in front of some aliens, okay, maybe something different and you want to show out, but you're in front of other humans who make mistakes on a daily basis. Driving mistakes, drinking mistakes, tweeting mistakes, all of these mistakes. So don't be afraid to mess up in front of human beings that also mess up on a daily basis. Look, these are the ways that I have alleviated nerves when it came to a live show. I would love to hear your suggestions down in the comments. So please subscribe, like, comment below. Hey, this was another Artist Marketing 911, Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com.